The Quiz on podcast is brought to you by the Flamingo Fund, supporting LGBTQ+ projects, organisations and initiatives. To find out more, head to flamingoscoffeehouse.co.uk/the Flamingo Fund.
Sounds great.
Hello and welcome back to the Quiz on podcast with me, Alex Mitchell.
And me, Hollie Noble.
This week we are joined by a fantastic guest. We are going remotely once more. Please welcome to the pod a fantastic comedian from the North East. It's Pheebs Stephenson. Woohoo!
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're very excited to have you, Pheebs. Very excited to have you. We'll get more into it in a bit. But firstly, when we have a remote guest, we ask, where are you and what are you drinking?
So currently I am in my house in Durham and I am drinking a fantastic Diet Dr. Pepper.
No, oh, that's got to be a first shout out for Dr. Pepper on the pod.
Oh yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah. What even is it? Nobody knows. That's the beauty of it. No one knows what Dr. Pepper is.
I was going to say, I can't pinpoint the flavour, but I think James Acaster once described it tasting like a sexy battery.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It is a sexy battery. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Very
And the second question on the pod comes from Hollie.
Yeah, so my question is, how do you think that Edna Mode identifies sexually?
Oh, I don't know. I've always actually wondered this. I literally guess Disney and Pixar characters' sexualities all of the time. Do you
Welcome
know
to
what?
the podcast. Perfect guest.
I genuinely think she's asexual. I don't know why. She just gives off big asexual vibes to me. Where she's just cool.
She's just cool.
She's just cool.
She's
just cool asexual
lady.
vibes.
Yeah. She's great. Oh, that is my favourite one we've done so far on the podcast.
Nice.
We don't pre-plan these. I don't know what it's going to be either. So when you hit me
Neither
with
do
Edna
I.
Mode, when you hit us with Edna Mode, I was like, this is the best one we've ever done. This is award-winning stuff, people. Okay. Talking of award-winning, we were joking, but it has just been announced. You are the winner of the Best in Class Marie Goldborn Award, the first ever Marie Goldborn Award, which is absolutely incredible. I'm very excited. Marie was, for those who don't know, Marie was a fantastic comedian who we sadly lost at the end of last year. She was a good friend of mine, and so when they announced they were doing an award in her name, I was absolutely thrilled, mainly for two reasons. Sort of one being her memory gets to live on. She gets to have that legacy. And two is that she would fucking hate all the fuss and attention. And I absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely incredible. But you are officially the winner, which means you're going to the Edinburgh Fringe this summer for 2 weeks with Best in Class. I mean, that must be incredibly exciting.
Oh my god, yeah. I cried when I found out. I cried non-stop when we announced it yesterday. I was at a gig yesterday, and when I came home I was sat in bed and I was like, I feel like I need to make a video to thank people, because I got so many lovely direct and private messages to congratulate us, and I couldn't generally finish the video, and I filmed it about 6 times because I couldn't stop crying. I'm very overwhelmed because I've just been doing comedy even for literally just over a year. So I can't believe that I am going to Fringe and I'm going to be part of it. It's something that I've wanted to take off my bucket list for so long, and I'm just so excited, and I genuinely hope I do them justice.
Oh, I'm sure you will do. But it is a monumental achievement. You should, definitely take time to be very, very proud of it before you start thinking about Fringe. But it is very, very exciting. And we'll see you there. We'll be up at the festival. We'll see you there. It's
Oh,
incredibly
fantastic. The whole gang's here.
The whole gang, we're taking over. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. It is
So good, Pheebs. Well done.
Thank
It
you
is.
so
It is a
much.
fantastic achievement. Well done. Absolutely. And that sort of leads us quite nicely, quite naturally into the topic, because we're talking about performing today, which we have talked about before. We're talking about performing, particularly as artists who have histories with mental health and have sort of mental health problems, mental health issues. I sort of try and not use the terms issues and problems because it makes it sound a lot more big and scary than it maybe necessarily is. I don't know about anybody else. That's just my opinion on it. But that is something that I believe all three of us can quite heavily relate to. Definitely performing in this industry when you have to be all sort of happy clappy, when actually maybe things aren't as great in real life as you're having to make them out as. And it's definitely a paradox we find ourselves in a lot. And Pheebs, you came forward to us with this topic suggestion, and we were like very excited to talk about it. So from your if you could just give us some insight into basically your background with both mental health and performing. You said you've been performing for just over a year in comedy.
Yeah, so I was diagnosed with type 2 bipolar disorder back in 2022. I also have autism, so both of which can be a little bit of a challenge trying to incorporate them into what can be quite like a full-on lifestyle. Because you're having to work like late nights. Like I have a full-time job as well, so I'm essentially balancing like two totally different things in this Hannah Montana style life where I'm just working a normal day job, and then on a night time I go from Phoebe to Phoebes. So it can be challenging. As much as I do absolutely love doing stand-up, it can definitely take a toll on my mental health, because like you say, there's some days where I don't feel great, and then I've got to be on stage in like 2 hours and make other people feel nice and feel good. But to be honest with you, it's part of the reason why I actually got into comedy.
I think that's great. I think it's great. I think it's such a like for me, as I was diagnosed with depression in 2019. Before I started in comedy, I tried to take my life. I was in a terrible place. I had a couple of serious breakdowns, and again, I think comedy for me was almost that was sort of the push to actually maybe you should give this a go, because this is something I've always wanted to do, and something I knew I'd enjoy, despite the fact it is very scary. It is scary when you first start, and also when you first start, everyone's juggling two jobs when they first start. They are, I was a full-time teacher, and then getting in the car from teaching or getting in the car from a staff meeting, going over to Nottingham, which is 2 hours away in the car to gig, getting home, getting 3 hours sleep, and then going back to work the next day. And that's just sort of that's the nature of the industry we're in. That's what we have to do, and that can often like be a real barrier. And it was. I struggled with that for a very long time, and I'm very fortunate now that I was able to go full time in comedy and make this my job, because it was incredibly difficult to juggle those things. I just wonder, how do you go about juggling the two different lives you live almost?
Probably very badly. I probably don't do a very good job. It's really weird because there's two parts of my personality. There's like my autism, which is very, very organized, likes to have routine, and then there's the bipolar side that just straight up throws all of my hard work away and is very self-destructive. It's like, nah, just do what you want and have fun like all of the time. Best way at work is I have like a little diary. I feel quite good writing everything down and knowing like when me bookings are, so I can juggle everything. And I think it's just about getting into like a new routine. So at the start of the year, I wasn't very well. I took like a month or so off from comedy. When I say off from comedy, I meant I did like 4 gigs.
Yeah.
A month. Because there's some places where I'm like, I can't turn that down. I've got to show up whether I'm a mess or not. It makes every interaction on stage interesting. Because it's like, what was that famous quote? It's like, sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit, but but yeah, I don't know really how I do cope, but somehow I am doing it. So watch a space.
That's great. That's great. I mean, I think that sometimes that sort of sums up a lot of people, where we don't quite know how we're doing it, but we're doing it, and we're making it work, and making it work is half the battle. It really is.
And Phoebes, so me and Phoebes weirdly met. That was the first time we met, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we met for the first time. Was it last week or the week before?
I think it was the week before, wasn't it? When we were at the stand together in Newcastle.
We were at the stand, yeah. And as in any green room, we just got straight into the trauma dumping. And I don't even know how it came about, but we both discovered that we both have bipolar. I mean, we both knew before. It wasn't just like a discovery that we gave each other.
In the green room, get diagnosed with bipolar. Someone at the stand walks in and goes, guys, Al Stevenson walks in and goes, you've both got bipolar.
It wouldn't shock me.
Just a wild revelation.
And Pheebs talks about it on stage, which we discussed, didn't we? That it isn't something that I really discuss. Like, I think I've mentioned it a few times, but I find it really hard to put into words and kind of find the particular humour in it that doesn't scare people, because I think bipolar in particular is a condition that's so misunderstood, and other things are starting to become a lot more understood, which is fantastic. But bipolar, I still find that it is very taboo, and people don't really understand what it is fully. And I think people are quite shocked when they find out that I have it, because it's really well managed, not to brag.
Not to brag.
You are lucky.
Not to brag. But I manage it really well, and I find that comedy really helps me with it. Do you think that comedy helps you, Phoebes, or do you think that it can have some detrimental effects?
It's a bit of both, but I would say I definitely get more out of doing it. But I totally agree with what you're saying, because sometimes the stuff's landed really well, especially with people that obviously like have mental health conditions. But sometimes people look at you as if you've just shat your pants on stage, and they don't know whether they can laugh or not, and they're sort of looking, and I'm like, it's okay, it's what I'm talking about, it's funny, you are meant to laugh. Like, it makes me feel better to normalise it, but also I make sure that when I'm speaking about it, I'm not generalising the condition as a whole. It's my story and it's my stuff to tell, because what I don't want to do is go on stage and almost spread misinformation, because like you say, I think the way that it's represented in the media like isn't great, especially on like TV programs, because I've had the stupidest questions ever asked to me, and I'm like, I don't know where you're getting this from, but it's absolutely like not what it's like. It's not something to be scared of. It's not something to be ashamed about as well. And when Hollie spoke to us, I was full on crying, because I was like, I've never spoken to somebody my own age who is a comedian, and I was just like, Hollie, I'm so touched, because it's like I've never spoken to another one of me before. It was so exciting. I'm so excited. But poor Hollie, she was just sat there whilst I was just full on crying, just like, oh, I'm so pleased. Not that you have it, but I'm just happy for someone understands.
I'm so glad. Because I don't think that I can, like, off the top of my head, know anyone else on the circuit with it either. One question that I've been asked loads of times, and it always baffles me, because it's like a common question that people ask when they hear about it, is like, oh, it's surrounding anger, basically. Like, do you get really angry, or how do you manage your anger? And I'm like, what? Like, it doesn't make me angry. Like, I just go out and spend loads of money. Like, what? Like, I think you're misunderstanding what this is, because I'm not angry ever.
I mean, I think you're right in terms of misinformation. Like, my point of view as someone who lives with a physical disability, like, there's so much misinformation and stigma around that, and that's often something like you can see. Like, you can see it when my arms are going, you can see it when I tick, you can hear it when I tick. Whereas, and if there's so much misinformation around that, I mean, there must be so much more around a hidden disability. You know, I say it quite a lot at the minute. Whenever now I get booked to do gigs, if it's not a purpose-built comedy venue, or if it's a very old-school venue, they get very excited when they've booked a disabled comedian. Right? They get very excited, and they bring me along all the time. And they go, and as soon as I like walk in and go, you know, introduce yourself, they go, oh, we've got something to show you. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Like, we've just had it put in. You're gonna love this. Come have a look at this. And I'm always like, oh, it'll be something to do with the stage or whatever. No, it is always the disabled toilet. Always, right? That's all it is. All the time. They're always so shit. And I then have to be like, guys, I don't even need a disabled toilet. I'm so sorry to break the news to you, but like, and so like, even what I think I'm trying to get is like, there's so much misinformation around that, it's like, and you can see my disability, you can hear my disability, whereas something like bipolar cannot be seen or heard. Like, it must be such a battle against stigma and false information that people have around it. That must be like incredibly challenging, not just within comedy, but just in normal life as well.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think as well with bipolar, because you go through phases, it's like people can't get used to one phase. So
Mm.
like if you have, I don't know, like depression or anxiety, for example, or even like ADHD, which also have, Alex has, and like autism, you guys,
Mm.
like you people can get used to what that one thing is, and okay, these are my symptoms and these are the things that I do and these behaviors that I display. With bipolar, it's not the same, and you're going through these phases of depression, mania, and then also being like on a baseline as well. And that, I think, is very hard for other people to see, because it's like, well, what, it's hard for us to see already, but then for other people, um and I think because there isn't like a specific like there are specific symptoms, but they change so rapidly that people, like, even like my mum can be bad for it. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm not feeling too well. Like I'm feeling down, and she'll be like, oh well, like, not to bash my mum because she's really really good with it, but like she can say things like, well, like are you due on? And it's like, well, nah. And I really struggle to say that it's that, like, not blame it or make an excuse for it, but to really pinpoint and say this is what it is. Like, you almost wish that there was a test so you could like take a test and be like, oh, it's because of my bipolar, for example.
Yeah, like I totally relate to that because I never know how I'm gonna feel like before I wake up, and it's like some days I'll wake up and I'll be neutral, but then I'll go through like really long phases of depression where you feel like it's never gonna end. But then I have like the hypermania as well. It's not as bad as what it used to be because before I was undiagnosed, they just thought it was really bad depression, so they put me on antidepressants. But when you take away the depressive episodes, you're just left with absolute, unadulterated mania where I was just out of control. One of the funniest things I did though, right, which I still laugh at to this day, like you were saying, Holly, I used to spend like obscene amounts of money that I didn't have on the wildest things. One of the things I bought was because my antidepressants had made us gain a lot of weight. I was trying to work it off. I bought a mini trampoline for the front room and used to do my own boogie bounce class, one person boogie bounce class. But I was quite rotund at the time, and I managed to break one by one every single spring on this
Oh my
trampoline
god!
until I was just bouncing on a half of it and then on a quarter of it because I'd spent £50 on this trampoline and I was not letting it go.
Oh,
Just working around the trampoline.
Yeah, like you have to laugh at it, but I think at that point that's where they were like, yeah, perhaps it's something else. They put me on medicine called lamotrigine. So what it does is it caps sort of the main highs and the main lows. So you still have like episodes. Unfortunately, they're never gonna get it. You're never gonna fully sort of rid yourself of it because unfortunately it is a lifelong condition and it's something that you just have to learn how to manage. I am getting a little bit better of it, but some days you have good days and you have bad days. But it's totally normal to like experience, the full set of human emotion. And I think sometimes it's just really hard trying to like learn the difference of, oh, am I happy or am I hypomanic? And that's something I still really struggle with. Holly's like nodding like, yes, yes, I feel you.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
it is hard because you're like, is the sun just out and I'm having a good day, or am I going to ruin my life? Like, it's like I'm on
Yeah.
lamotrigine as well, and it is amazing because it doesn't let you, like you say, get those massive highs and massive lows that would last for weeks on end, but you can still feel it a little bit. Like, but now I'll just do things like clean a lot, which is really helpful actually. Instead of like going out and ruining my life. See, I think that these stories are really funny, but I think, again, like, I think if you told these stories on stage and didn't start it off with saying you had bipolar, people would be more receptive to it. But then it's like, well, I've not found that way of doing that yet, where I can say it's bipolar and people don't like suddenly tense up because they're like, I don't understand what that is, and now I'm scared of what that is. But I don't know if, like, from the outside these stories are funny, but to me, like, I do find them really amusing. Like, I once covered loads of things that I had in glitter and then went like, and I stayed up for 48 hours just covering things in glitter, and then I went to a car boot sale to try and sell them. And to me, that's just like, I must have looked utterly insane when I was stood there because I hadn't slept for 2 days and I was just, everything was covered in glitter. And I was just stood there with the stand of glasses and everything covered in glitter. I think that's hilarious, but I don't think that other people really do.
I think what, like, the bit there that is the funniest bit is the aftermath, right? It's not while it's happening, because while it's happening, people are like, "Oh my god, what the hell? Like, are you okay?"
Yeah.
But it's when it's the image you paint there, where you're like, when you're stood there at the car boot sale and people are walking past, seeing everything, and this woman who's like, you must be like shaking, like you've not slept for 48 hours, like you're probably
Yeah.
on edge, and then just all these. But also the idea of a car boot sale is sort of like, the image I get is these sort of like quite like brazen kind of laddie working class men walking past you covered in glitter. It's just a really funny image. I think that's what I did when I talk about my mental health on stage. I think one of the things I've always done with it is like trying to create tension, right? Because one of like the best bit of feedback I ever got, the best bit of advice I got was like, some of the biggest laughs you'll get come from when people don't think they're gonna laugh, right? So
Yeah.
if you can create a moment where people think you're gonna have this like little, like, I used to do a bit where I used to like, people used to think I was gonna have this heartfelt ending, right? Where I talk about how, like, because I go in my set, I do a bit where I was like, oh, like, I've always wanted to do comedy, da, da, da. And then I'd finish it up by going, I think it's really important I say that however many years ago I was in the worst place of my life. I'd had a couple of breakdowns and I tried to take my own life. And but if you hold on, you can end up just like me in a basement in Sheffield. And like, people would be like, it was just this whole idea that you create. So people are like, oh, this is gonna be like this really heartfelt, touching bit which we weren't expecting, and then it's me just going, no, fuck you. Like, look where we are. And so that sort of was always some of like the best advice I got and how I sort of incorporated it. But again, I think a lot of that I think is down to my autism, right, and my fact that my understanding of the world around me isn't the same as everybody else. So what I can joke about is my life and myself. What I struggle to do is sort of more sort of observational stuff, because the way I see the world is completely different to the way other people do it. So I was always going to have to talk about my mental health on stage because that's such a big part of who I am. And like I say, has put me in so many scrapes. So I talk about my anxiety. I still regard it as one of my best routines is that I once had a panic attack in a Taco Bell. Like, that's just funny. That's just because no one's ever done that. That's just a funny bit, isn't it? Because again, imagine seeing that as someone who's just walked into Taco Bell and there's just a grown man like hunched over, like. Although to be fair, you probably see that in Taco Bell a lot. Like, it's not good food.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good stuff.
I love a Taco Bell. Love it.
Same.
The
Do you
chips
actually?
are so good from Taco Bell.
Maybe-
Yeah.
I think with me, and this is why I had the panic attack, and my friend talks about it all the time, is it was the first time I'd ever got in there, and I had full panic attack, and I ran. So I walked in, had a panic attack, ran out, rang my friends, and I said to my friend, like, initially, what anyone would do, and I had a panic attack in Taco Bell, and she laughed at me, but then she did, like, then she was trying to be nice. She was like, okay, but let's break this down. Why did it happen? And I said the most middle class and saddest thing I've ever said in my life, because I just went, I didn't understand the etiquette. I didn't know what I meant was, I don't know how it works, but I couldn't articulate it, and so I said the saddest and campest thing of all time. Like, that was my experience in the Taco Bell. But like that, again, those kind of things, I think they can be really funny, but also like really comforting to people as well, because there will be people who've, not necessarily ashamed, but like they know an incident they've been in is funny, but they don't really know how to talk about it. It's actually, and I'm not saying you have to go on stage in front of loads of people and tour the fucking country and tell everyone about the inner workings of your brain, but like it can be quite reassuring to people that go, oh, actually, I can make this funny, in a way that's sort of like, in a way that's also rewarding to me. It's not like I'm making it funny as I'm being dismissive of it, because I don't think we're definitely not doing that, because we're showing that yes, it's funny, but also, look at us, we're doing all right. We're on stage, we're doing the thing we love the most, we're doing all right, and that's kind of, I think that's really important to show as well, but without doing it in like by preaching to people, because no one wants that.
Yeah, I think that's what's like really important, because I've had like a couple of people come up to us after shows and just say like, like whoever has bipolar or I have bipolar, and it's really like nice to see you, like on stage and doing something that you're really passionate about and love, and we really like your set. So it does make me really happy, and I can be having the worst day ever, and if one person, even if they don't tell me, if they leave feeling better about themselves, or if they've just been diagnosed and they're struggling to sort of accept that diagnosis, I hope I have made them feel better, and that makes me feel like I'm doing a good job.
100% you will have done. 100% you will be doing that. And I think that's the other thing as well, is there's also, that's the added bonus of the job we do. We go home happy when we make people laugh, right? But if you get that one extra thing on top of it, then you go home and be like, just on top of the world. And that's actually maybe not great for people with bipolar, but you can go home on top of the world, and that's like, and that's just like an added bonus to the job that's really, really cool and really exciting and really fun, and something that we don't think about when we start in comedy. No one goes into comedy going, I'm going to inspire people. No one does that. No. I mean, unless you are the most entitled human being, like no one does that. So it's like Hollie's got a list of male comedians in her head. She's going, they probably thought that.
No.
Yes. But yeah, it's like one of these, we never go in with it with the aim of inspiring people. But if that comes out of it in the end, that's a result. But also that's pressure as well. The more you think about that, I find that more pressure inducing. People come up to me afterwards and go, oh, it's just really nice to see someone like with the same disability I've got talk about it on stage and do the things they love. And it's like, that's lovely. But I specifically remember that first started happening, I was like, I don't know how to deal with this. Like, I don't know how to cope with people saying that to me, because suddenly it's like, people are putting me in a role model bracket, and I'm like, I can't be a role model. I can't order a Crunch Wrap Supreme without breaking down. Like, that's not... You know what I mean?
The Crunch Wrap is the best.
Is it? I don't know. I've never had one. I had a panic attack and left.
Oh, very good.
Very nice. Very nice.
But it's like, it's like, how can I be a role model? How can I be inspiring when I can't go to Taco Bell because I'll have a panic attack? Like, it's that kind of thing. It was always more sort of quite scary and quite tense.
Yeah, it does put a certain amount of pressure on you. Pheebs, do you think that you'll, like, what actually happens with this fringe thing? Because I'm not actually 100% sure how it works. Like, are you doing a full show, or...
Oh God, no. I don't think I have like a full show prepared. I'll be sort of doing like little sort of like 5 and 10 minute bits on other shows. Obviously for the Best in Class, and a one called Comedy Queers as well.
Yes.
So those are the things that I'll be doing, but I definitely not ready for my own show just yet. I wouldn't know where to start.
Oh, you're gonna have a great time. Have you been
I
to a
can't
fringe
wait.
before?
No, this is my first time, so I've never actually like been to fringe like ever. It's wild because like I'm in Edinburgh for gigs all the time. My sister lives in Edinburgh as well, but I've just never been to fringe before. I think the thought of it was a little bit like overwhelming, but I was like, you know what, I'm ready for it. Let's do it. I'm very excited.
It's a lot of people. And it is a lot. It's a lot of, for me especially, like massive sensory overload. But the thing that sort of ties me back to it all the time is that, like, this is what I've wanted since I was like 13. Like, that's what brings me back to it every time, and go. However, whatever I think about this, like, I'm living the dream right now. And so again, for me, it's always just about balancing it. You know, having that time to, you know, yeah, I still very much view, like, when I'm there, especially when I was there when I was still working, it was like I've got a job to do. Like, I had to view it as a job. I've got my show to do, or my, you know, I'm going along to these things to do these bits. I have to do that. And then it was about, okay, enjoy the rest of the festival as well, but also, you know, take that time for myself, because there's so much going on that is like comedy and beyond is great. Last year I won 2 free tickets to Swamp Lesk, which is the Shrek burlesque show.
I want to go to that so
It's
badly.
amazing. It's fucking amazing. I don't think you've lived until you've seen Lord Farquaad and nipple tassels.
See, this is why I need to go to this show. My sister was telling us about it, and she was like, we have to go, and I was like, oh, we will, don't worry, I'm going mainly for that. It's like, not even to perform, just for this show.
What I will say is that I won 2 tickets to it, arranged to go with a friend. My friend was ill on the day. We could not find someone to take the other ticket, so I went to Swamp Lesk on my own. after 3 weeks of doing a show every day, and I was very much looked ill. Like, it was just sort of like glazed over halfway through. I was like, I don't know what's happening anymore. Like,
It is amazing.
so yeah, there's so much going on. Like, it's all about, yeah, getting that balance. But that's just like, again, treating it like normal life, getting that balance between work and actually taking the time for yourself and doing the things you enjoy. But it will be an incredible experience. Is it the last 2 weeks of the Fringe?
Yeah, so I think I'm there from the 12th until the 24th, so it's a nice 2-week holiday, off work, all the comedy pals there, doing a house share. Oh, it's going to be like
Nice.
reliving university all over again. I cannot wait.
And you get invited to the Dave UK TV party, which is an experience and a half. Last year, I went to that for the first time. I dropped a bottle of rosé on Dara O'Brien shoes. That's happened to me. It was a big evening. But all of that stuff happens as well. It's really, really cool. Yeah, you get to. I say it all the time that last year, like when I went to Fringe, it was the first time I felt like a proper comic. Where I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm doing this like properly. This is my job, and this is really cool. And it is that experience is really fun. Again, it's like it added a bit of pressure to it, but it was really, really fun.
It's just like, it's like Disneyland for comedians. It's just the best fucking time. And like, I've not done a full run there, so I suppose I have a very different view of it. Because like I'm just going, jumping on a couple of shows, and then just mostly seeing my friends. But what's really nice as well, like the first time that I went, I didn't really know anyone, but then like last year I knew loads of people. So then you're just like walking down the street, and then like I saw you, Alex, and I just like walking down the street, and you were flyering. It's just nice to bump into people, and it's just such a wonderful time. Also, you guys might not know, there is a part in, do you know where the Fringe shop is, Alex? Where all like the bits and pieces are. If you go downstairs in there, you can talk to someone about like mental health and things like that. And they give out bags that have like sensory things in. You can they can give you like noise cancelling headphones, like loads of stuff. I got a bag of fidget toys last year. It was absolutely wonderful. They're really good, really helpful.
They have lots of those like pop-up shops that come along, and friend of the podcast, Lizzie Lenko, she like runs a group and society for disabled and neurodiverse performers as well. So there's loads of support there. It's really cool. I really want to ask about the house share you're going into. So is that what are the feelings towards that? Is that an exciting thing? Is it quite nervous? Is it what's the feelings towards that?
I feel a little bit nervous, but I'm also excited. I've never done like a house share or anything before, so ask me in September. And
Who
I'll
are
tell you
showing-
my honest opinion.
Do you know any? Are you sharing with the rest of the best in class people?
I think so, but to be honest with you, Alex, I can't tell you because I read emails so poorly. I was just like, yes, yes, accept.
Yeah, agree to everything.
Before I even had a look, I'm assuming so, but I might be wrong. I hope so though, because there's some absolutely fantastic people on the lineup. I'm very, very excited. Al Stevenson was griefing us because he made this cute little post about, oh, congratulations, but your surname, it's spelt wrong, because he's a V and I'm a PH. But you know what? Every show I do, they always spell my name with a V, so I was like, don't worry, because I'm forever living in your shadow anyway.
That is the Geordie takeover of the Edinburgh Fringe. Is going to be incredible.
It is. I cannot wait. I am so excited. I'm definitely in the best company with the other people on the lineup. It's just going to be so good.
That's great, and that's what you want. You want people you're gonna like get to spend so much time with, but actually like really love to spend time with already. Like we talk about it a lot on this podcast, where we say it like some of our best friends are comedians, but the nature of that means we can go months without actually seeing each other because we just don't cross paths. We're gigging all over the country or all over Europe, all over the world, you know. And so it's like you can end up bumping into people being like, oh, but they still regard them as like your best mates. So you getting to spend 2 weeks with these people, that's really cool. That's a really exciting, like that is a really cool thing to do. I'm a 20-minute walk away from my venue, which is perfect because I'm a 20-meter walk away from my venue, which is great.
Nice.
Yeah. Because if I have a bad gig, I could scuttle off home. No one need know about it. I'll just go hide. It'll be great fun. But yeah, it will be amazing. You will have a great time, and I think, it's just really exciting. And I think you're having a really exciting moment right now in your career, and that's really, really cool and great to see, and you fully deserve it, and it's really, really exciting.
Thank you so much. Please do not talk about it any longer because I will start crying because I haven't stopped. I've only just stopped crying like 2 hours ago, and now I want to cry all over again. I'm literally holding back the tears. I'm like, thank you so much, because it is genuinely just lovely. Thank you.
It is amazing. It is amazing. And thank you so much for coming on the podcast. We've loved chatting to you. You've actually, maybe without knowing it, given some great advice to people who might be listening as well, which is really, really cool. And I'm sure people will be very, very grateful for, and people will have listened to this who have bipolar or who have struggled with their mental health and want to get on stage and don't quite know how to, and you will have really impacted them. So that's amazing. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. You can go and see Pheebs in Edinburgh as part of Best in Class. You'll be able to get tickets, I imagine, now. Right now. Go do it right while listening. Do it right. Go to the Edinburgh Fringe website. Do it right now. Buy a ticket for that. And then search for Alex Mitchell Tough and buy a ticket for that, because I need that. And then like just like follow Hollie on social media and tell her she's
just
great.
leave me alone.
Just leave Hollie alone. Yeah.
Let me enjoy Edinburgh.
Follow us all on social media. All the links will be below. Rate and follow the podcast as well. That would be great. You can leave a comment as well. Text in. Not text in. We don't have a phone number. DM us. Email us.
Yeah.
Don't text in. We're not a 90s radio show. But yes, do get in contact. We'd love to hear what you've got to say about the podcast. Also, if we've done episodes before where we've given out advice. Granted, it was probably bad advice, but that's also fun, and we can do that as well. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time on the Quiz on podcast. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to need to retake that ending because I said podcast, which I would love. I'd love a
Leave
podcast.
that in.
I'd love a podcast more. I would love a
love
podcast.
it.
If we just did a podcast about puddings, I'd be there in a heartbeat. But yeah, thank you so much for listening to the Quiz on podcast. We'll see you again next time. Bye.
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 Smooth. This episode of the Queers On podcast was produced in association with Unmasked Neurodiversity Network, an incredible charity in Leeds aiming to provide unwavering support and guidance to individuals within the community. To donate or find out more, visit unmaskednn.co.uk.